Human nature psychology explained in 6 minutes. I used to think I was making choices. That I knew why I wanted something. But then I caught myself reacting in a way that made no logical sense, and I realized most of what we call me is just a pattern. A loop, an unconscious echo of childhood, trauma, power dynamics I didn't know I was caught in. Human nature psychology isn't a theory. It's the rules we're already playing by, without knowing. It's the invisible engine behind your crushes, your fights, the job you can't quit, and the silent tension in every group. We want to believe we're rational. That if we just think harder, we'll figure it out. But this game doesn't reward logic. It rewards those who can read the emotional room, feel what's unsaid, and act without needing permission. That's why people with high emotional intelligence and strong street smart skills often outmaneuver others. Not because they know more, but because they sense more. Some of us are still stuck in a survival mindset shaped by early rejection or unpredictable love. We don't chase goals, we chase safety, approval, control, and the way we chase it? It often sabotages us. Ever wonder why certain people trigger you instantly? Why one word can make your chest tighten? It's not about the word. It's about what it represents, the hidden meaning your brain mapped to it when you were 7 and powerless. That memory never left. It just got buried under adult logic. And human nature psychology is about digging it back up, so it stops controlling you from the dark. Power dynamics aren't just in politics or boardrooms. They show up when a friend always forgets to text back. When someone dominates a group with jokes. When a boss casually mentions your weaknesses in public. These are psychological manipulation tactics, and if you don't see them, you can't counter them. Unspoken social rules shape everything. Who gets trusted? Who gets ignored? Who gets promoted even when they don't perform? If you're still living by the rule, work hard and they'll notice, you're playing an outdated script. In real life, it's not merit that wins. It's positioning, timing, reading people faster than they read you. People don't tell you the rules. They expect you to absorb them, like osmosis. That's why so many burn out. They think they're failing, when in fact, they're just unaware they're in a game. Office politics tips don't teach you this. They teach surface moves. But the real power lies in knowing when to speak, when to disappear, and how to build alliances that shift the whole structure. Game theory in real life isn't about predicting every move, it's about knowing every player has a motive. Even the quiet ones, especially the ones who seem above it all. Watch them. Because in social hierarchy explained from the inside, silence is often a strategy. So is fake vulnerability. The people who win in life, sustainably, are rarely the loudest. They're the ones who ask, what does this person need to feel safe? Then they either offer it or remove it, depending on what position they want to claim. You think you're just vibing with someone. But underneath, you're scanning for rank, loyalty, threat, value. It's not evil. It's instinct. That's why social survival skills aren't just helpful, they're essential. Every conversation you have has 3 layers. What's said, what's meant, and what's denied. The last one is where most power lies. Because if someone can get you to doubt your own perception, they own your mind. That's psychological manipulation at its cleanest. There are people who walk into a room and instantly adjust their energy. It's not people pleasing, it's scanning the terrain. Figuring out if this space is built on dominance, charm, intellect, or victimhood, and deciding who's really in charge. Not by title, but by influence. You can't learn how to win in life if you're still chasing fairness. Fair is a bedtime story. Reality is a game of leverage. And leverage comes from knowing where your value threatens someone else's illusion of control. Ever had someone slowly erode your confidence while smiling? They're not being toxic. They're defending their place. Because when you don't know your position, others will assign it for you, subtly but with precision. Most people don't lie with words. They lie with pauses, with deflections, with the way they never answer directly. That's how you read people. Not by their words, but by what their nervous system is trying to hide. If someone always plays the victim, ask, what power do they gain by being helpless? Because helplessness, in the wrong hands, is a weapon. One that makes you feel guilty for setting boundaries. And if you're always explaining yourself, you're already losing position. Power doesn't explain, it signals. It evokes response without needing to justify. You can spot who holds real influence by watching who people defer to when things get tense. Who everyone glances at. Who stays calm when others panic. That's not coincidence. That's hierarchy. And most of it is invisible unless you've trained yourself to see it. Muta 1, that version of you that no longer reacts from fear but chooses from clarity. That's the one who survives the real game. Not because it plays better, but because it sees deeper. And once you start seeing the game, you can't unsee it. You'll walk into meetings and sense the undercurrent. Who's threatened? Who's pretending? Who's positioning? You'll hear the subtle flex in someone's tone, the disguised insult wrapped in humor. You'll know when a compliment is a hook, not a gift. That's when it shifts. You stop reacting. You start choosing. Because human nature psychology is not about avoiding the game. It's about not being a pawn in it. You start seeing how people protect their egos like territory. How someone might attack you not because you're wrong, but because your presence makes them feel small. You'll stop needing to fix yourself to be liked. You'll ask instead, what need am I feeding for them? And if the answer is manipulation, you'll walk away, without guilt. Manipulation tactics aren't always obvious. Sometimes they look like support. Like someone helping you so much that you forget how to stand. That's not care. That's control. And when you stop needing to be rescued, you stop being controllable. The deeper layer? Most people don't manipulate because they're evil. They do it because they're scared. Power dynamics are driven by fear of being irrelevant, unloved, replaceable. When you see that, you can hold power without becoming a tyrant. Social hierarchy explained from the outside looks like clicks, promotions, status games. But from the inside, it's pure psychology. Who feels safe enough to be honest? Who doesn't? Who controls the emotional weather of the room? That's the real boss. Sometimes, the one who leads isn't the one with the title. It's the one whose mood everyone adjusts to. That's influence. That's the pulse you need to track if you want to play a long term. If you want office politics tips that actually work, stop focusing on visibility. Focus on alignment. Who do people trust in crisis? Who do they fear disappointing? Become that, not through performance but through precision. Deliver quietly. Read deeply. Protect others' status without shrinking your own. That's how alliances form. There's a kind of street smart skills no school teaches. The kind that senses when someone's not saying what they mean, but what they need. The kind that doesn't flinch when accused, because it knows silence is stronger than defense. It's not that emotions are bad. It's that unprocessed emotions run the show from the basement. Emotional intelligence isn't being nice, it's knowing when to feel, when to freeze, and when to flip the script. You'll start noticing how people test you. A throwaway joke, a slight delay in a response, an overshare that makes you feel obligated. These aren't random, they're tests. To see what role you'll play: rescuer, threat, backup. When someone gives you too much too soon, be careful. That's often a setup. Real connection takes time. Fast intimacy is sometimes just fast control. The most dangerous person in a room isn't the loudest. It's the one who knows how to mirror your deepest wounds while looking like your safest place. That's psychological manipulation at its highest level, when someone uses your own unmet needs to guide your behavior without force. But once you learn how to read people, that spell breaks. You'll feel the tug, but you won't follow. You'll hear the guilt trip, but you won't collapse. You'll sense the status game, and decide if it's even worth playing. This is how you win in life. Not by collecting victories, but by choosing your battles based on clarity, not craving. Some people will hate you for waking up. Because when you stop playing your old role, they lose their script. Let them. Not everyone deserves access to the new you. You'll lose some connections, but you'll gain sovereignty. You'll stop begging to be seen. You'll start seeing yourself. And when that happens, people won't know how to manipulate you, because you're no longer playing from fear. That's what Muta 1 is. The version of you that doesn't flinch when the world tries to drag you back into old patterns. That doesn't chase approval. That doesn't justify its presence. When you start seeing how human nature actually works, you realize the rules aren't written, they're felt. And those who master the feeling level control the outcome. So next time you walk into a room, don't ask, do they like me? Ask, what's the game here? And am I playing mine, or just a piece in theirs? Because the truth is, we're all players. The only question is, who's writing your moves? And maybe, just maybe, the game only really starts when you stop playing by their rules.